everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy, and that is not Matt. Well, Matt is away right now. He's got some family stuff going on, but I wanted to fill in some space. So we've got my good friend, this Venus flytrap thing, next to me. So you just pretend this is Matt, right? It's basically the same thing. It's got basically the same knowledge of comics and opinions. Anyways, so I'm here with Infinity Flux. You can follow along over at infinityflux.net because we're going to be talking about the biggest and best comics that you can pre-order by this weekend. So either if you shop with us in store or online at infinityflux.net, you don't want to miss out on these because these will sell out, I'm sure, when they hit the stands. And this just guarantees you a copy of the book. So this is really weird sitting next to this, so hopefully it does not throw me off too bad. This is going to be weird. That's just how it's going to be. So let's get into this week's worth of comics. We're going to start off with our Prime comic pre-orders. These are kind of the big stuff we want to make sure you don't miss out on. And we're going to start off with Green Lantern Corps #1. I'm super excited about this. This is by Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton with Fernando Pesarin and Auclair Albert. And this is bringing the Green Lantern Corps back. I'm loving the main Green Lantern book right now. This is going to be an ongoing series. So the Green Lantern Corps have been reformed and head out into the galaxy to stop Sorrow, which, if you've been reading, you know, Sorrow is the ex-fiance of Carol Ferris before she left him to go back with Hal Jordan, and his master from creating a new power battery, which is probably not a good power battery. This one features your whole host of Green Lantern Corps: John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Jessica Cruz, Joe Mullen, Simon Baz. All of them are here. I believe a future cover has like Kilowog on it. I love Green Lantern Corps. When I started reading comics like on a regular basis, the two main ones were Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps. They ran side by side. One was mainly Hal Jordan. The other one was kind of everybody else. I think Green Lantern books work really well that way. You kind of get the full spectrum, no pun intended, of the Green Lanterns. So I'm super excited about this. It just feels right having a Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps book. But I imagine even if you're not reading Green Lantern right now, you can still read Green Lantern Corps and have a blast with it, because I definitely will. We've got our A cover here. We also have this Dave Wilkins variant. We have an Ariel Olivetti variant, a Nathan Zerdy variant, a blank sketch variant, and there's also going to be a Zerdy foil variant. So that's going to look really nice in foil. Moving on, we've got Bug Wars #1. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be a 6-issue miniseries, and I've already got a chance to read an issue and about issue and a half of this series so far, and it is phenomenal. So this is by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar. That was your original creative team on Conan the Barbarian when Marvel got it back a few years ago. And this is essentially Conan the Barbarian meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. With, I would say it is more violent and over the top than the Marvel Conan book, if that gives you any idea. This is not, you know, all ages. This is definitely a mature title, but with a lot of fun on it. So this is about Slade Slaymaker. He's a kid from Alabama, and he finds himself in an incredible world of ant armies, spellcasting spider witches, beetle riding barbarians, and more. So going a little bit more in depth that I know the solicitation doesn't do. So they're not like the beetles that are necessarily fighting. There are these things, and they're called mites, and that's what you see on the cover there that he's fighting. They're more humanoids, but they ride the beetles. They're kind of, there's different ones associated with each of the different insects, and it's kind of, part of the story is around those and what are they and who discovered them, all that kind of stuff. Um, all these exist within Slade's backyard. He's just moved into a new house, and little does he know that maybe something to do with his father's research has something to do with these, and this huge world, this huge, very like Conan, the first, when you open a Conan book, it's got the big map and everything. It's like that, but just within a backyard. And it's so much fun. There's also crazy stuff like War Raiders, Lords of the Honey Thicket, and Maggot Monks. Just to give you a couple more, so you've got a big diversity in creatures in this. And I will say the term or the sentence, their mandibles knew no mercy, is used in this first issue. It is a blast. There's so many of those things where you're like, oh, but like the humans would be giants and things they do would really affect this world. You'll have to read to find out how that all works, but it's really, really cool. It's brutal. It's very like Conan Barbarian esque. And yeah, I can't wait for people to read it. Even when I read the first issue, I knew like, yes, it says it's 6 issues, but this world, you could tell so many stories in it, and it would be so much fun to explore all the different corners of it. So, highly recommended from someone who has read about an issue and a half of it that I have already pre ordered this. I can't wait. So, we've got our A cover here. We have a Peach Momoko variant and a blank sketch variant as well. Don't sleep on this one. I think this is going to be a big hit um, in the indie comic scene. Next up, we have Weapon X-Men. So this is really interesting. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries by Joe Casey and Chris Cross. Uh, this is somewhat tied in with the One World Under Doom. We'll be talking some more about um, the tie-ins. We've got two more later, but did want to highlight this one because it's kind of a new, fresh one. So it says when a high stakes mutant rescue mission is in a global hotspot exposes an enemy from within, Wolverine, Deadpool, Cable, Chamber, and Thunderbird come together to take that enemy down. Now, for doing a little bit more research, it does say that their first mission is to Latveria. And these almost remind me a little bit more of your X Force. You're a little bit more like proactive, maybe a little more violent team that goes in for special missions. Plus, it looks like it's made of some of the best 90s characters. So I'm very excited about that. It sounds really cool. There's an extra size first issue. And it does mention, too, after Latveria, they have other missions they go on. So I guessing maybe the first issue is tied in, but maybe the later ones aren't tied in with the One World Under Doom. I'm not positive, but at least we know the first one is Latveria and is very tied in with the One World Under Doom storyline. But I love this. More books with Cable. I love Chamber. We haven't seen a whole lot of Chamber in a while, but that's a character I've always loved from Generation X. So check this one out. It's a great cast of characters. We've got our A cover right here. We have a Mark Brooks animated style variant. We'll be seeing a lot more of these animated style variants, and they're very, very cool coming up soon. And there's a Steve Scroce variant. Moving on, of course, this is big for me. We got a couple of Star Wars books. First off is Star Wars Fear the Jedi, #1. This is part of our final bit of the High Republic. The High Republic is coming to an end. At least our main storyline is coming to an end this year. So this kind of ends the Marvel main series with Keith Trennis and some of the characters we've known so far. This is by Kavan Scott and Marika Cresta. And it doesn't say a whole lot about it. It does just feel like this is, if you've been reading the High Republic book from Marvel, the final chapter of that. So Keith Trennis is set on a path that will change her life forever. It's guest starring Kelnaka, the Wookiee Jedi from The Acolyte, which is super cool that he's working here, even though we know he's got a terrible fate. And the battle comes to Naboo of the Jedi versus the Nile. So it'd be cool to see Naboo during the High Republic time. I think some of the books have also touched on that as well, but visually it'll be cool to see. We've got our A cover right here. We have our really cool Black History Month variant with Osha and May, which I believe is the first time they're on a comic cover. And there is also this Carlo Pagulayan variant as well. Continuing, we have what is probably one of the biggest Star Wars releases of the year is Star Wars Jedi Knight. This is, since we've had Star Wars wrap up, Darth Vader wrap up, this is our next kind of ongoing Star Wars series they've announced, along with the Legacy of Vader series. These two are going to be the big ones. This one is by Mark Guggenheim and Matibek Musabekov. This is set slightly before the prequels. You can even see Count Dooku here is a younger Jedi, part of the Jedi Order before Episode 1. This is, it says Marvel's first series focusing on the Jedi Knights. Of course, they've had a lot of individual issues and stuff focusing on this era, but it's great that we're getting a bigger book set in the prequels timeline. So you've got Qui-Gon, you've got Obi-Wan, Yoda, Mace Windu, Ayla Secura, Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Yaddle, Kit Fisto on the cover, so many more. And all it says is really the first issue, who is the mysterious new villain targeting Qui-Gon Jinn. I did some reading on this, and Mark Guggenheim, the writer, talked about, well, if the Jedi represent kind of samurai, then what would a ninja look like? And that is who the kind of first villain they face is what is the Star Wars equivalent of a ninja. There's some preview pages online that are really really cool. You can check out. But if you are looking for the next kind of ongoing Star Wars series to grab onto, this is going to be really, really cool. And this first cover is a wraparound cover. So you can see even more characters. A Shot T, there's Luminara. So yeah, definitely check this one out. This is our A cover. We also have a Dan Jurgens classic homage cover, a Giuseppe Camuncoli variant, a John Tyler Christopher action figure variant, and this character is new for this, I believe. You'll see him on another cover coming up, but I don't know if this is a new hero or villain or what, but very interesting. We also have, I love this one. This is the Pertry Women's History Month variant. Very cool. Ahsoka, even though she probably will not feature in this, as she was probably just born around this time. We also have the uh, Ramon Rosanos. This is a foil variant with that new character, which is very cool. And I think this one's going to be big. I'm imagining they're going to be doing this for a bunch of the issues, but this is the Torin Clark foil lightsaber variant. So that lightsaber is going to be foil. I imagine they're going to do the majority of the Jedi Council. So this is one you do not want to miss out on because this is going to look great together, and I imagine these are going to sell out very fast. Next up, we've got a couple of One World Under Doom series. Starting off with Doom Academy. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries. And if you're familiar with Strange Academy, that this is kind of the new version of that. This is going to be by Mackenzie Cadenhead and with art by Pasquale Ferry. And not a whole lot of information, just that now that Doom is the ruler of the world, the Strange Academy has been relocated to Latveria just in time for the start of a second year. So, yeah, I'm sure if you haven't read any of Strange Academy, they probably catch you up pretty well with this. But if you have read it, this is going to be great to be your kind of next chapter of the big story. So, this is our A cover. We also have a Ron Lim variant, a Ryan Brown variant, and that one's really cool, and a Wu Chol Lee Doctor Doom variant. Ah, this guy's not doing much talking. Next up, we have another One World Under Doom miniseries. This is Thunderbolts Doomstrike, number 1 of 5. I did some more deep diving on this one as well, which is really it sounds really cool. So this is by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, and it says to atone for his unwitting role in helping Doom take over the world, Bucky assembles a team with only one goal: to burn it all down. Now, doing a little more research, it seems like Bucky had actually been doing such a good job at taking down uh, like Hydra, Kingpin, Red Skull, all of those, that he may have actually paved the way for Doom to step into a lot of these places. And now Bucky kind of feels guilty for that. So we're going to have Bucky, Songbird, Sharon Carter, and the Midnight Angels launch a daring plan to target Doctor Doom's supply of vibranium. But what is standing in their way? It's the Thunderbolts. So this is actually going to have our original Thunderbolts team. You can see a few of them right there on the cover. So it's a Thunderbolts versus Thunderbolts storyline that I think is going to be really, really cool. If you're a fan of the original Thunderbolts, it'll be great to see them back for this. So this is your A cover for that. And there's an Ivan Tao variant as well. So I know there's a lot of these One World Under Doom storylines. I would say don't feel the need to pre-order every single one of them. Pre-order the ones that you really like those characters, or the creative teams are ones you really like. Don't overwhelm yourself with all of them. Play it smart, and I think you'll have your most enjoyment out of the series. They do say, at least, of course, they say that this one is pretty important to the Doom storyline, but I think it's more explaining how Doom came to power, like some of the other books also cover a little bit. Next is a new book. This one is called Mine is a Long Lonesome Grave, #1. This is by Justin Jordan and Chris Sheehan. And it sounds cool. This is about a character named Harley Creed. He's a violent ex-con who has been released from prison and returns to his home of Briar Falls, West Virginia. His hometown is engulfed in a low-level folk magic that has permeated the land for generations. And I don't know if he knows about it. It kind of sounds like maybe he's familiar with where he's from and maybe knows there's some kind of a little bit of magic to it. But when he returns, someone puts a hex on him as a way of getting vengeance on him for his past crimes. And he'll have 7 days to find and kill the person who did this before he dies in twisted, screaming agony. So I love Justin Jordan. Justin Jordan has written some great kind of pseudo horror, twisted stuff. I love Strange Talent of Luther Strode and some of those. So I'll be checking this out because I love Justin Jordan. This is your A cover for that. We also have a Matthew Roberts variant and a Kelsey Ramsey variant as well. Next up, of course, we got to talk about Ultimate Wolverine issue #2. Issue #1 came out this week, a huge hit. If we are not completely sold out of it, we maybe have one copy left because this is big. This is people have been talking about this for a long time, and it's such a cool twist on the classic Wolverine story. So in this one, there's not a whole lot of information about kind of what sets this one apart from the first issue, which I like because I like being surprised, especially in the Ultimate Universe. But once again, Colossus, Omega Red, and Magic put Winter Soldier, which is Wolverine in this, up against a mutant liberation group. Now we know, I don't want to give away who is in the first issue, but we do meet a few mutants that are part of the Mutant Liberation Act that are familiar faces. Issue #3 does mention Kitty Pryde and Gambit, so it makes me wonder: is there going to be some more new Ultimate versions of characters in this one? We'll have to wait and find out. But I'm very excited about it. I loved issue #1. I thought it was really cool. Tons of action, cool mystery setup about this corner of the Ultimate Universe. So don't miss out on it if you're a fan of the Ultimate Universe. If you're a fan of Wolverine, this is still a really solid Wolverine story, kind of with a twist, but you get some of that great classic Wolverine action. This is your A cover. We have a Jungjin Yoon variant, a Lionel Francis Yu Ultimate Special variant, and did want to show also there is a second printing of #1, a Capuccio variant, which is your interior artist, and a blank sketch variant as well. If you want to get somebody to draw you an Ultimate Wolverine. I had to take a drink for this one because this is a big deal for me. Aquaman, my favorite superhero of all time, always has been. And issue #1 of Aquaman was awesome. It's really rooted in with what's going on in the DC universe right now. It's touching on some of the big mysteries set up in the All In special, and I'm really excited to see where it goes because where issue 1 left off, Aquaman, Atlantis has basically disappeared or has been like ripped out of reality or something, and a portal is there caused by this pearl, and the portal looks like the Dark Side Omega symbol. What does that mean? Aquaman goes through it, and that's where it left off. So I can't wait to see what's on the other side of it. So we know that there's some interesting stuff coming up with this. We know we're going to be exploring the blue, which is kind of the equivalent of the green, which Swamp Thing is part of, and the red, which Animal Man is part of. Now we're going to learn more about the blue. Apparently, there's going to be kind of a guide for Aquaman through learning all of this, and as he's mastering his new powers that he got when they all switched and he got Mera's powers. It says that he'll have to train like never before with his new powers to stand a chance of recovering Atlantis from its untimely apocalypse? Or is it apocalypse spelled like Darkseid's home planet or Darkseid's planet that he rules, apocalypse? So this is awesome. It seems like it's going to continue to be a very important puzzle piece of the DC universe as a whole. And I'm getting it. It's, kind of automatically my favorite book, but I'm so glad. There's been Aquaman series in the past that I bought because it's Aquaman, but I didn't love. This one, at least issue one, I loved, and I can't wait for number two. This is your A cover by your interior artist, John Timms. We also have this really cool Lucas Mayer variant with Mara. I always believe, the Aquaman book is the strongest when the full family is involved in it. Mara is almost as important of a character in an Aquaman book as Aquaman. Um, so I love seeing her on all these covers. And there's a Tula Lote. I don't think this is Tula Lote. I think this is the Lucas Meyer. The previous one was uh, Marcio Takara. This is the Lucas Myers. I have pre-ordered this cover. That's super cool. And then there's the Tula Lote cover with Mara. Continuing on, we got Absolute Batman issue number 5. We're gonna keep on talking about this as long as it stays popular, and it is one of the hottest books out right now. It is incredible. Nick Dragotta is back on art for this one. He took an issue off to kind of do that backstory, but he's back doing this one. And this is the penultimate issue of the first story arc. We always have to point it out because people still ask, is this a miniseries? No, this is ongoing. But of course, it's broken up into story arcs. This is the issue before the last, and I feel like this first story arc is really important, setting up kind of entire absolute universe right now. Bruce is broken and beaten. Will he give up everything to Black Mask and his gang? Because, this Batman doesn't have all the money in the world. He doesn't have all this. And Black Mask made some promises if he stops being Batman and just lets them go for a little while. But, that's not going to last because Batman may have something bigger up his sleeve. And something something bigger than himself that he feels like he needs to help. And what does this have to do with his relationship with Jim Gordon, who is now mayor, and kind of their history together? So I think this is going to be really cool. Every issue of it has been awesome so far, so I'm excited to kind of see the first chapter of the Absolute Universe fulfilled and see, how it leaves us. And also I learned like after this first story arc, then we're getting a couple issue Mr. Freeze story. So we get to find out what the Absolute Universe version of Mr. Freeze is like. I can't wait to find that out. But anyways, this is your A cover. There's also a Joel Jones variant, an Ian Bertram variant, and a Clay Mann variant. So some really, really awesome ones. Next up, we have more Essential Comics. And yep, he's still not doing any work, just creepily staring at me with his green teeth. So we're going to start off with Creepshow In Love. Now, this is a one-shot. If you are reading Creepshow, awesome, you'll definitely want to get this. But also, it's a one-shot, so if you haven't been reading it, but you want a Valentine's Day tied-in issue, this comes out on 2/12, so just right before Valentine's Day. This is a one-shot with multiple stories by Mirka Andolfo, Patrick Horvath, and Yul Pyong-oh, each kind of telling a different story that involves love and, of course, horror. So if you love Creepshow, definitely sign up for this because you're not automatically going to get it if you are pulling Creepshow because it is a one-shot. It's not tied in with the main series. So definitely pre-order this one. This is your A cover by Chris Burnham. And there's a beautiful Mirka Andolfo variant. Next up, we have DC vs. Vampires World War V Darkness and Light #1. This is also a one-shot, which it's crazy, like, so far into this DC vs. Vampires, they're still doing these special issues. And this one sounds really cool. So it's by Matthew Rosenberg and Nicola Sismeja and Daniel Bayliss. And this is an oversized issue, a double special issue, two sides of the same story. So we see Wonder Woman, who is turned vampire, and Alfred turned Green Lantern. And a chance encounter will have them re-examining what it means to survive in a world ruled by darkness. So if you're enjoying the DC versus Vampires, you'll also want to pre-order this one because it's not guaranteed that it's going to be pulled for you if you're reading the main thing, because once again, it is a one-shot outside of the main ongoing series. So you'll definitely want to pre-order this to continue your story. Here we've got our A cover. We have an Edmund Gallman variant and another Edmund Gallman variant. So it looks like they are connecting ones, which is very cool. Next up is a really interesting one. This is called the Hive. I had to do a little bit more digging this one just to be like, what is this about? There's only the one cover, and the incentive cover is just this cover, but yellow. And the solicitation didn't say a whole lot to explain it, so I went and read an article about this. Actually sounds really interesting. So this is by AJ Lieberman and Mike Henderson. AJ Lieberman did your Gotham by Gaslight, your recent one, and the art is Mike Henderson, who did one of my favorite series, um, uh, 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 Nailbiter. So yeah, great team on this one. It's a neo-noir series that follows a group of hive-minded criminals trying to escape their deadly queen bee crime boss. So automatically, that's super cool, kind of a bee-themed neo-noir crime. But I got a quote from Lieberman who says, "The Hive is nothing you'd expect, but exactly what you'd want in a dirty neo-noir story set against a world where some people can connect and control others in a hive mind like bees in a hive." So if you're a fan of crime, but with a really cool twist, you'll want to check this one out. So just the one cover for this one as well. Next up, we have Powerpuff Girls Valentines Kissy Face Special. I love Powerpuff Girls. Uh, this one's really cool. The main series that's going on is great, but I love they're doing these one shots. So this one's by Paulina Ganichow and Savannah Ganichow. And it's the annual Valentine's Day card exchange in Townsville, the city of Townsville. But when a new boy in town catches Blossom's eye, everything around her turns into a flight of fancy, kind of a whimsical, lovey world that she can't seem to break out of. And including even Mojo Jojo's villainous schemes transform into a fairy tale adventure. So it's going to be up to Bubbles and Buttercup to try and bring Blossom back to reality and find out what is going on with all of this craziness in Townsville. So if you're reading the main Powerpuff Girls series, you'll want to pre-order this. If you want a fun Valentine's Day comic, this is another great one. But Powerpuff Girls are fantastic, and people should check this out. So this is your A cover. We also have a Baldari variant and a Ganichow variant. So that is your interior artist on the book. Next up, this one's really cool. And there's not a whole lot of information about this, but the little bit I found is awesome. So this is Godzilla versus America. That's the kind of header title of it. And this issue is Godzilla versus Chicago. And they have assembled a team of creators for this, including Tim Seeley, Mike Costa, Ryan Brown, and more. And they are from Chicago. So each issue in this, they're going to get a team of creators from that city to tell stories about Godzilla attacking that city. So there's going to be, I believe, 4 stories in this one. And of course, it talks about the train there, Godzilla attacking the sports stadium, a Chicago based superhero that goes up against Godzilla. Just a lot of really fun stuff, but I love that they're doing these city based ones. Who knows what other cities are next? I looked for it. There's been no word about what other cities they're choosing. But I'm excited to see where else they go with this. I love Chicago, so I think this is going to be really cool and with a great creative teams on it. This is your A cover. And then we also have a Tim Seeley variant with a really jacked looking Godzilla. Next up, I did want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #7 just really quick because this is our first issue where Juan Ferreira joins Jason Aaron and he's going to be your ongoing artist for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So this kind of really starts your This is Turtles for at least the first big story arc. And it sounds really cool. It sounds like the Turtles have to relocate their sewer hideout to New Jersey instead of in like Manhattan and stuff. So If you're reading Ninja Turtles, I'm sure you're enjoying it because it's fantastic. But if you haven't been reading it, it sounds like this might also be a great jumping on point for the start of the next big story arc for Ninja Turtles. This is your A cover. We have a Ferreira B cover, so that's your interior artist. And we also have it says cover Q, but I recognize this art. This is a Sejic variant, so that one's very cool as well. Next up, we have continuing stories. These are books that have already started, but want to talk about maybe you need a reminding, you need to pre order the next issue of it, or something very special about the storylines that are going on. Starting with Batman Dark Patterns. This is issue number 3 of 12. And this is a really cool series. I haven't got a chance to read it, but I flipped through a lot of it. Matt's been reading it. Once again, that's not Matt, but you can pretend it is. So you can ask him how it's been going. But it looks like a really cool series. And the way it's broken up, this actually ends the first case in the Batman Dark Patterns detective story. This is a very detective focused Batman. So this rounds off our first arc of this. So this is your A cover. And there's also an Ashley Wood variant. Next up is The Lucky Devils, number 2. Of course, this is a big book from the creators of 8 Billion Genies. And I still have not got a chance to read issue number 1. Once again, Matt read issue 1 of this. I can't wait to read it. I'm definitely going to check it out because I loved 8 Billion Genies. But this also continues here. So this is your A cover. There's also a James Heron variant. And then they're doing a second printing of the A of issue number 1. This cover is by Maria Wolf. Then, once again, we're back for Alien vs. Avengers. This series is, we get an issue every couple of months. This is the penultimate issue, 3 of 4. And it looks like that Hickman is bringing in the engineers from Prometheus. So they are going to be trying to stop the aliens. Meanwhile, the heroes that remain from the Marvel Universe get a distress call from the X-Men, who I believe in this series kind of made their exodus to Mars and have been living there, but maybe the aliens have ended up on Mars as well. So it'd be cool to see what X-Men are still around and all of that. But this is your A cover. This is actually an incentive. I didn't mean to put it on here, but it's a really nice incentive by Pete Woods. And there is a Casagrande variant as well. Next up, we have Laura Kinney Wolverine. And issue number 2 came out this week. It was really fun. Started this team up with Wolverine, Laura Kinney, and Elektra Daredevil. And that just continues in this one. So if you're enjoying that series, you'll definitely want to get issue number 3. This is your A cover. There's an Edgeker variant and another Mark Brooks animated style variant. Then we have your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 3 of 5. So this is still the prequel series to the TV show that we'll be getting very soon, tackling Peter Parker's early days as Spider-Man. And in this one, Peter tries to navigate his new double life as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I think the last issue dealt with his wrestling match that was, of course, classic early days Spider-Man. But this is your A cover. And there's a Ben Sue variant. And then for Zootopia fans, we've got issue number 2 of Zootopia. In this one, Officer Hops and Wild respond to a call, and it's a break-in at the city dump, which they don't really like the sound of that. This is your A cover. And there is a Russo color bleed variant with Officer Wild, so that one is really cool as well. Next up, we have Cover Gallery. Let me take a swig for that. So, Cover Gallery is basically not a whole lot of information about the books, but I want to show you these really awesome covers. So, we're going to start off with Action Comics. This is your Turin Clark variant for issue 1083. And there's a really nice Ryan Benjamin Black History Month variant with Steel. I love Steel. Really cool to see him. We also have the Black History Month variant for Black Lightning number 4 by Ryan Benjamin with, of course, Black Lightning. This one's really cool. This is the Feral number 10 cover B. This is the homage. I believe this is either to Fangoria. I believe it's Fangoria or like classic monsters in film. But yeah, everybody loves these homage covers and they keep churning them out. Very cool. We also have Amazing Spider-Man number 68. Did want to just spotlight, this is the A cover, this Patrick Gleason cover, which is beautiful. He does such great Spider-Man work. There's also the Luciano Vecchio Torch variant, as they're doing all these characters as Human Torch, even though some of them look like just your favorite characters got caught on fire. This one's really cool with Black Cat. And we have a Scotty Young 8 Deaths variant, which you'll have to tell me in the comments. When you were a kid, you thought you were going to run into quicksand way more in your life than you actually did. But in the Marvel universe, maybe it is way more common. Maybe that is Sandman pulling that off. We'll have to see. But I do love these Scotty Young variants for this. They've all been really fun. And we also have a Daredevil number 18 John Boy Myers Torch variant, which, I mean, when Daredevil, he went like full, like, now that's part of his powers with this one. But I love John Boy Myers art. We've got a bunch of these Mark Brooks animated style variants, starting with Exceptional X-Men number 6. We have Incredible Hulk number 22. Mystique number 5. NYX number 8, which Mojo, love seeing him on there. Storm number 5. X Factor number 7. And X Force number 8. So yeah, great covers that were kind of just originally Mark Brooks trying out a different style, posting them on Instagram and stuff, and now Marvel making them into covers. And also want to show, this is Ahsoka number 8. This is the Takashi Okazaki variant, which is really, really nice. Next up, we got Bookshelf. Of course, these are big old books you want to put on your bookshelf, collected editions. Only got a couple of them this time, but some great ones. This is our next DC Finest, Peacemaker Kill for Peace. So, of course, I love the Peacemaker show. I love all the James Gunn DC stuff so far, and it's great we're getting this collected edition, because I'm guessing a lot of people have not read Peacemaker. I haven't read him in a lot of his early stuff, and this actually collects his never before reprinted origin from the Fightin' Five number 40 through 41, which I find it hard to believe that his origin has never been reprinted, but it is a very old book and pretty obscure, so it's really cool that it's here. This also has the miniseries from 1967, Peacemaker 1 through 4, and various cameos in other books, including like Suicide Squad and everything. So this is cool. It's all together for $39.99. So if you want to read some Peacemaker before season 2 comes out, this is going to be great. And we also have from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives trade paperback. And this, of course, collects the issue 1 through 4, I believe. Yeah, the 4-issue miniseries that was kind of the branch off What If Jason Todd Lived Instead of Died by Joker's hands. This collects the 4-issue miniseries along with Batman 426, 427, and 429, and the faux simile that was the reprint of 428, but this time with the alternate page at the end where Robin lived, that kind of kickstarted this storyline that they were doing. And that is going to be $24.99. And we've got some new printings, and boy, are there a bunch of them. So we've got, of course, a bunch of new Absolute reprintings. This is Absolute Batman number 1 5th printing, the Jim Lee cover. Absolute Batman number 2 3rd printing. Absolute Batman 3 2nd printing. Absolute Superman number 1 3rd printing. This is the Jim Lee cover. Absolute Wonder Woman this is Absolute Superman 2 2nd printing. Then we have Absolute Wonder Woman number 1 4th printing, the Jim Lee cover. Absolute Wonder Woman number 2 3rd printing. Absolute Wonder Woman number 3 2nd printing. So leave it in the comments. How many printings do you think Absolute Batman number 1 is going to get to? So we're up to 5th printing. Some of the highest ones I ever saw were the Donny Cates Venom issues got to some really high printings. So maybe it will reach those heights. We also have Batman 610 Facsimile Edition. I've been getting the foil covers for all of these. This is, of course, the original Hush story that ran through issues of Batman. we're going to be getting our Hush 2 coming up in the pages of Batman very soon. So if you want to revisit that classic Hush story, this is a great way to do it. So there's the regular edition of this, the foil edition, and the sketch cover of this. We also have New Gods at #1 second printing. This is the Evan Cagle variant, or the A cover. I love this book. So we got issue #2 this week, and I've always liked the New Gods, but they've always seemed like pretty high concept. And I think this has been one of the best, at least these first 2 issues, making an accessible New God story that also ties in with what's going on across the DC universe. So if you haven't checked it out and you like a little bit more cosmic, that kind of stuff, but with Mr. Miracles in it, he's really down to earth. It's been really fun. This is your main cover, and there's also an Evan Cagle foil variant as well, which is really nice. We also have Deadpool Wolverine, #1 second printing. Issue #1 of this was great. It was a lot of Wolverine action. It was a lot of fun bits. It wasn't too like Deadpool slapsticky. We've talked about on the show that we like Deadpool, but sometimes it can be a lot when you see a page full of text and it is just every joke the writer ever thought of put onto one page, and you're like, there's actually no substance here. It's all just gags. This is not like that. This is a really nice, really refined storytelling. So I really like this first issue, and it's getting a second printing. We also have Magic #1 second printing. This is the Dyke Ruin variant. And this one was originally the foil variant where the blades fire was all the foil, but this time it's just a plain variant for a second printing of Magic #1. And also, really cool Geiger #10 second printing featuring Who is the Glowing Woman. You'll have to read the issue to find out, but this is the second printing of that, which is awesome. So if you're not reading Geiger, definitely check it out because it is fantastic. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Flying solo didn't go too bad. Hopefully, everything I said made sense, and you got a lot of good knowledge out of that. It wasn't too unhinged. Nothing caught on fire, so I think we're good. Other than this was there the entire time. Hopefully, you could take your eyes off of it for half a second to see the covers. But head on over to infinityflux.net right now. That's where you can place your pre-orders, and that is whether you shop in the store or you shop online. It's really helpful both ways because you shop online, you get it mailed to you. You're guaranteed, everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of. We're super easy to communicate with. If you have any issues, we'll help you work them out. And also, if you shop in store, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that you shop in store, you can still order books on infinityflux.net and just come by the store and pick them up. That way, if there's something really hot and you hear about it, you can go ahead and pre-order it and pick it up when it comes out in store. You don't have to wait till it releases to grab it. So, super important. You head on over to infinityflux.net. Of course, I have a subscription there, and I do all my ordering. It's super fun, super easy. So yeah, check that out. Also, Matt will be back with us on, let's see, today is Friday. He'll be back on Monday as we go over the big books coming out next week, and there are some really big ones you won't want to miss out on. I just bagged and boarded them this morning. I can't remember a whole lot of them, but there's some big ones, I assure you. Thank you so much for watching. This was a lot of work to do by myself, but it's, as always, super fun. Let me know what you're excited for in the comments. And until next time, I'll see ya.